Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170. The Answer. Joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with
Mr.
Team
Rabbit Hole.
Home Loans.
Mr. Rabbit
Yes,
Hole.
King of the Rabbit Hole, Pokemon Scooter, all that fun stuff.
Let's get to Phoenix.
All right, we have got the author of the book, The Price is Right, Mr. Blair Ballin.
The Price is Right.
The Price
That's
is Right.
That's a great title, sir.
Thank you.
Tell us about this book.
Yeah, so basically, and actually the story is kind of funny. There was a while back where you and I were on a Facebook forum and realtors were discussing when a house doesn't sell, what they should do to get it sold. And the most...
Always about the price, right?
Always about the price, and their answer was lower it. And Kyle and I actually exchanged some messages about it, and it really frustrated me and motivated me to write the book that that's the common answer when I feel that the public doesn't really know and isn't educated that they have other options about what they should do when they're selling their home, mostly related to a realtor not marketing the property. And
so you didn't just put it, so it's not just put it on the MLS like most realtors think. If they just put it on the MLS, it sells itself.
Right. So the old post and pray method where you put up the post, pray that it's going to sell, put up the lockbox, and then put it in MLS. That all works. I pray with every one of my listings, but that's not all that I do. And I want to tell a homeowner that I'm going to do all this marketing. And if that doesn't work, combined with what's going on in the market, then we might want to entertain a price reduction. But it's not about after 2 weeks going by whatever stats are out there that if you don't have X amount of showings, X amount of offers, you need to reduce the price. I think that's an old age method that realtors that are lazy, that use, that don't know what they're doing, and are costing our communities a lot of money. So I wrote the book and very passionate about it. It's on Amazon, geared towards mostly homeowners so they know what's going on, but also geared towards realtors so they get an idea what they should be doing. So
from a true professional, somebody's been in the business quite a while. How long have you been in the business now?
17 years.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to continue there, Jason.
I was, but I
just
go on rabbit holes. I know. I'm trying to hold back. No. So you mentioned cost in the community. So I just want to make sure you, the listener, understand cost in the community is if let's say everybody's house is worth $500,000 and, the market's been going up and they hire the cheap agent. The agent can't sell for more than $502 when a good professional agent like you and Kyle Blair probably would have sold that house for $520 as an example. That helps the community because now there is a comp so that it's easier to sell the next house at $520 or above in a rising market, where if you settle for the cheapest, you usually get what you pay for, and then they keep the community at that $501, $502, where the community should be $520. Is that kind of a good example?
Basically, and the other thing, and I outline in a book in a little bit, is the community expert. Not saying every community expert out there, but there's a lot of realtors out there that call themselves the neighborhood specialists and all that garbage.
And they've never lived there, never sold a house.
Never lived there, never sold there, or they've sold a couple and they've undersold them. So the neighbors think that they're these awesome realtors who sell homes quickly, and all they've done is underprice everything to sell them quickly. Again, not saying every realtor that calls them a neighborhood specialist is like that, but there are quite a few that are out there. And again, costing the community's money, costing the homeowners money, costing everything. And part of our job should be to get our clients what they deserve. They've been entitled to that, and we should help them with that.
Entitled is a kind of a tough word for me, just so you know. Having two millennials entitled.
You don't know how to spell it, or?
Well, that too.
Okay, well,
yeah,
but entitled itself, that's a tough word for me.
Well, I understand. You're from California.
Exactly. So there's so many people here that all feel like they're entitled. So
yeah, Arizona, we don't have any of that.
Well, you guys feel you're entitled to our beaches because you have taken them over again this month.
Yes, and better football teams. But other than that, we're good.
I love it. You hear that, Paul?
Wow.
I love it.
Can't
man.
deny that. They got
Arizona.
They got a quarterback as old as you, and they're still making the playoffs.
Carson's awesome.
He hits the field in his scooter too.
He does hit the field in the scooter. I respect the ownership there of the Arizona Cardinals. I expect the respect the coaches. You guys have a well-rounded team, and they are having to practice in this 110. They probably are practicing indoors, I imagine, right now.
Actually, I think they go up to Flagstaff where it's cooler, if I remember correctly.
All right, you're probably right.
And believe it or not all of Arizona is 120 degrees in the summer.
No, I love
what
Flagstaff.
we might think.
Flagstaff's actually a wonderful place. My son was looking to go to the college up there. NAU, which is the Lumberjacks.
Yes, they are.
And Darren Carrington, who played for the Chargers in the 95 Super Bowl, long-term personal friend, sent us there because that's where he graduated. And here's a guy that played in the NFL that nobody had come out of high school, nobody thought he was worth it. And NAU, he came from the Bronx, New York, was the only place to give him Division II schools, the only place to give him a scholarship. And he went on to play 9 years in the NFL, 2 Super Bowl teams with the Denver Broncos and the Chargers. And so you just never know. So even in Flagstaff.
So tell us about the real estate market out in Phoenix. We know what's going on here in San Diego. Rates are low, prices are up, hot summer market. You guys are literally hot, but what's going on with the real estate market?
Yeah, so right now, compared to 2 years ago when there were about 28,000 homes on the market, right now we're hovering right around 25,000. We're averaging about 87,000 homes selling each year compared to 2 years ago when they were around 78,000. We have about a 3-month supply, which is a little bit lower than a couple years ago. And then prices continue to go up with an average price per square foot that's stuff for homes that are selling at about $141 a square foot. And then 98% of homes are selling. Homes are selling for 98% of what they're listed for, and 77% of homes are selling. So some really awesome stats, lots of demand, not as many Canadians buying just because of the dollar, or the loonie, I should say. But
and the Canadians, talk about that. Having in-laws in Palm Desert, I'm familiar with that, but I know not everybody understands the snowbird effect.
It's tremendous, and a lot of them are selling right now because they can get a better rate of return. They're not buying, but it's better for them to sell. But a lot of Canadians bought in our market, let's just call it from 2007 to probably 2012, and now makes that perfect storm for them to sell. But we do get a lot of Californians buying in Phoenix, Scottsdale, surrounding areas.
So what's like an average house? If I want to buy a 2,000 square foot home, that's probably going to cost me $500,000 to $600,000 here in San Diego. But maybe instead I want to buy a second home, say in Phoenix. What's a 2,000 square foot home roughly run? You said 141 square feet. So am I thinking, is that, $300,000? What am I talking?
Really depends on the area, the views, all that kind of stuff that you're looking for, but right around 300 would be a fairly good estimate, which is why a lot of people are buying. And taxes are pretty low.
Yeah, and that's like about $1,800 a month, kind of roughly, with 10-20% down. I'm just thinking in my rough head. I mean, it's pretty cheap to have a place that you can rent out when you're not there. Absolutely. And then you can enjoy it. And so I know a lot of the Canadians come down, they spend like 4 to 6 months in these warm weather areas, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Arizona, Phoenix, And so they literally will spend 6 months in Canada. And when the snow comes, they come down in the winter and spend that time with you guys because it's only 75 degrees there, where it's like 20 degrees up there in certain parts of Canada because it's so far north. And so that's where I mean by the snowbird effect. For a lot of people haven't heard that here in San Diego because they don't come here. We don't get many Canadians for whatever reason to come here, but they really enjoy going to Arizona and to the desert there out in Palm Springs area. Why do you think that is? You've done a lot of business with Canadians,
so one of the other reasons in Phoenix is because our hockey team is from Winnipeg, so they followed the hockey team down. I've heard from several Canadians that it's actually cheaper to come to Phoenix to watch a hockey game than it is to go to a local game. Not necessarily
that's their national pastime.
But
I mean, that's
within an hour or whatever. It's still cheaper to come to Phoenix, and the prices are lower. Just gives them a great place to come to, where the prices are probably half of what they're paying. And whether they want to go shopping at whatever store, it's just an all-around better deal.
There we go, wrapping up.
I love it. If you want to learn more about the Phoenix market, you need some help with the hoarder drug house in your neighborhood, any real estate needs, give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll get you connected. 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. Thanks so much for listening to the show. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you, Paul.
Here we go.